everybody. Welcome back to Wampooville. Welcome to the first of our Battlestar Galactica flats. This should be really interesting because this is a different type of flat, right? The other ones that were more, say, like this right here, almost like really flat. This obviously has a bit more texture. It also has this frame around the outside, which of course is a little bit different, and that's a bit different than this frame that I made for our original. These are the ones that I did like the very first set of flats. Hey there, Camda, how you doing? So Camda, I actually have the autocorrect monster in the first Trench Crusade bust. Actually have those files tested out. Nice to see you there, Thranuel. Well, Camda, I hope it hasn't been too rough of a day there. Again, sorry I didn't get a chance to shoot you any messages there, Cam. It was, well, it's kind of a crazy day here, too. Let's just put it this way. All of the stuff that I did after all of the big floods during the summer and stuff, I think that kind of saved some problems. Let's put it that way. Oh, yeah, and actually, here's another thing, too. So, Cam, to check this out, actually, same thing, they're Armored Wolf. So, these are for Adepticon, 16 wells. And I was actually filming this. So look at this. There's this silicone thing here. Actually, I've already got, I think, a dozen more of these coming, Armored Wolf. So there's this silicone thing that seals it here. Like this. If I can get that thing on there. There we go. And then I just, during the video, I said, wait a minute, what if I could actually make little pallets and cut them out? So yeah, there's actually some pallets in here too, but this is one level of airtight, and then that's the other level, and I mean, you can see it's not even the size of this flat right here. So I think this is what we'll be using for Adepticon armor. Well, we got no choice now because I already got, well, technically I have 16 of them, but I'm going to get me another batch of 6, and that'll give me 18. And obviously that'll take care of the class. So great to see you there, Thranuel. I know that you're probably super tired again, Thranuel. Oh, look at this, Camda. This is pretty wild. I was wondering just how much this initial little dry brushy stuff was going to show. Also, too, Camda, I'm sorry that I didn't... there was a whole bunch of your YouTube stuff that I didn't reply to because it wasn't, I didn't see it. It wasn't showing me. I got no notifications for any of those, Camda. So if you see like there's a whole bunch of replies to your YouTube stuff, that's only because, well, the other thing too is that there hasn't exactly been any time to really send responses there. So my apologies there, Camda. So yeah, Armored Wolf, I mean, that thing is tiny. That thing is absolutely tiny, and it's very airtight. And I'm thinking, Armored Wolf, that's something that people could use. I mean, not just at Adepticon, but they could maybe use it at their house or certainly at other conventions. I mean, it makes sense, right? And now, the latest the latest thing I got of those, it was a pack of 6 for 26 bucks, Camda. Yeah, package of 6 for 26 bucks. So it was like $4.51 or 2 cents a piece, somewhere in that range. Yeah, Armored Wolf, I just got them, and actually Armored Wolf, those could work for regular miniature paint too, right? I mean, you could have little wet palettes. You could certainly put some of your most commonly used paint, and of course, Armored Wolf, those are so tiny. Okay, so you have 2 of them. Now you've got 32 colors. I'm not good at math, but that sounds like 32, doesn't it, Camda? And I know people use a lot of different colors with the acrylics and stuff like that. They don't, I don't think they use that many in one miniature. So I think, yeah, I'm thinking that just might get the job done on several different levels there. Let me do a little more of this here. Okay, so now we've already got the, oh, gee whiz. Okay, I don't have my 1 second here. Oh, that Camda is on a 450.15. Oh, it's a 50 streak there. So little hype train there for Cam. I'm just going to put that up while I try to grab some more of my little plastic two thingies here. There we go. All right. Back to it here because I wanted to get a photo of this. I completely forgot about that. Alright, I'll just have to stay over there. This is moving over here. One second, let me get the old camera going here. Because I don't want to... ooh, that looks really interesting in that one. Now, I wonder... Actually, no, come on. So there's the Trench Crusade bust, and there's the autocorrect monster. Hey, Valfera. Yeah, look at that. And, well, since Camda and Valfera, the two most frequently targeted persons by this creature right here, I guess you guys deserve to be some of the first ones to set eyeballs on it. So, Valfera, let's see. I don't think you're going to get some of the crazy rain that we did. Let's put it this way, Valfera. I was just saying a little bit ago, it's a good thing that I did all of that preventative stuff. Yeah, because this is one of those classic winter things where it got to be almost 60 degrees here. Yeah, that was, it was getting crazy stupid here. So hopefully you didn't get any of that down there. And of course, Valfera, I don't know if you saw, well, I don't know. I think that might have been past interference on that last play because I only just saw on I think it was Facebook or something like that showed the replay of that. I think you could have called past interference on that last play. Yeah, Steve Alfera, that's what caused that stuff here. Yep. Because well now it's supposed to snow here. Let me get no, that's over here. Okay. That is over here. So, Thranio, I hope that you're able to maybe get a teensy bit of sleep over there. Yeah, I know probably not too much, but let me get this going here. And now this. So, actually, I would have been earlier, except... again, I had to kind of wait out that rain and then do the stuff with the prints. So that's why we're a bit later here than I thought. It's still not super late because we've been doing this for almost 10 minutes and there's still time left in the day here. So yeah, technically, Valfera, I'm almost early. Maybe we'll get a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, there you go, Valfera. Here's a little bit of a hype train for Valfera. Also a 50 stream streak for Valfera. There we go. So again, I also made... Oh, let me see. I hope it's not too far down the thing here. Here we go. Look at this. So this guy right here, there's a miniature of this now. I did get rid of, say, like the crown and some of the other things in his treasure. I basically made it coins, but that golden throne, remember how much I loved this character? Oh, he also had to get rid of his cane. But I'm going to be doing a test print of this, so you might be seeing this on stream or in a tutorial of it or something right there. So yeah, that miniature now exists. 1 second here. There we go. And of course, let me get this in here too. So this is for folks that did not see it yet. That should be the latest YouTube video right there. Yeah, thanks for sending that, Valfera. Let me get this Pansy Gray. I'm just gonna use my dropper bottle here. Get that going. So everybody check out the latest video there. That is the Army of the Dead. And again, all of the animation stuff there, that was all done with my miniatures. My miniatures, my terrain, all my stuff. So for folks that are wondering, yeah, all of that stuff, there's, especially you can see it in the terrain. Now, of course, what I was thinking about doing, Camda, was doing a very small print of the, what would you say, the before version? Like a really tiny one, almost like a 5 millimeter scale thing or something like that. How's about we welcome in Darling Creep Show, who dares to enter our domain. Hey there, Kentucky Fried Creature and Diadems. Welcome back. So thanks again. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the raid. Let me get back to my main. There we go. So Creep Show, I hope that you're doing well. And actually, Creep Show, were you doing some more Trench Crusade stuff? Yeah, it looked for a second like you were. I couldn't. Unfortunately, I was trying to get ready for this, so I couldn't really tell. We are doing some more of our fabulous flats here, and of course, well, we've done lots and lots of our fabulous flats here. I mean, tons and tons and tons of these things now. Oh wait, there's more. Oh wait, there's even more. But wait, there's more somewhere else. So here we go. Yep, here's more. Yeah, look at that. There's more. I told you there would be more. So thank you so much, Creepshow. Appreciate that. And everybody, please give Darling Creepshow a follow if you could. Ah, okay, that's cool. And of course, hey there, Marshish, how you doing? Hey, Drosarius, nice to see you back. Hey, Jenga, great to see you too. So again, these were really. Oh, actually, here was the latest one. So this is one that I was doing in a tutorial video. A little bit of tree beard right there. And of course, well, on Monday, speaking of little Battlestar Galactica, this was another one of our Battlestar Galactica ships that we did. And actually, I'm pretty sure that folks have seen, well, our Lord of the Rings themed gummy bears that we have been working on. I just posted another one. Oh, and actually here too. Here is another one of our Lord of the Rings gummy bears. And of course here you can see the latest. This is not just my Army of the Dead, but also all the terrain that goes with them. So here, where's our... there he is, yeah. So this is super fun. Our Sauron and Grima. Again, we've done almost 30... Well, I've painted almost 30 of these things. Almost 30 of them. So Creep Show, again, if you want to share anything in chat, please go ahead and do that. We're just underway here. We're about 13 minutes in. So again, Kentucky Fried Creature, great to see you. And Jenga, how are you doing? So Creep Show, I hope you had a really good Christmas time there. This was our traditional New Year's Eve ornament that we painted. We do this every year. We celebrated 6 time zones. We started over here and we went all the way over to here. So great to see you there. Ah, that's fantastic, Creep Show. That is fantastic. Actually, here's some more. Do we have them over here still? I think we sort of do somewheres here. There they are. They were just kind of hiding. This is just a couple of them here. So we did 2 Corsair, because a very Corsair Christmas. That was the Christmas Tree Nebula. And then, of course, a little bit of Christmas in Hobbiton. So we did a whole bunch of ornaments as well. Oh, and then, of course, there was this another bust that I created. And the whole idea was that this was very easy to print in FDM. I already did a test print of that. Gosh, the thing is about 8 inches tall or something like that. Here it is. Yeah. So with that integrated print like this, very easy to print it out in FDM, and you can kind of see just how big that thing is. So yeah, that was the whole point of that particular bust, was something that could be easily printed in FDM and at that size. Yeah, let's get some additional over here. And then we need a little bit of our Prussian blue in here. So we're kind of, sort of, a little. making kind of an indigo type of a color here for Baltar's little, I yeah, kind of a uniform slash jumpsuit kind of a thing. I hope everybody had fantastic holidays there, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. I know it can get a little bit on the hectic side during said holidays, so hopefully it wasn't too hectic for folks. Um, Actually, I don't know how familiar people are with Furbies, but I'm also, well, because my niece had a whole bunch of Furbies when she was younger, we were talking about those at Christmas, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden they were Lord of the Rings themed Furbies. So just like we've done, oh gosh, what, 34 different characters with the Lord of the Rings gummy bears, there's now at least 24 Lord of the Rings Furbies. So Jenga says that Gummy Grima, well, actually, Jenga, oh, we were talking, Jenga, I think when we first were, thinking about the gummy bears, is how could we make edible ones? Jenga, so what would it take to be able to obviously make a mold or something like that, and then actually make gummy versions, like actual edible gummy versions? We still haven't figured that out there, Jenga. If anybody has any kind of suggestions on how you could potentially make some kind of mold so that you could have edible versions of those Lord of the Rings guys there, well, I'd be all open to it. So Jenga says that unflavored gelatin and silicone molds. So Jenga, I'm wondering. I guess if I want to make my own, um, actually, Jenga, I know this is a crazy question, but do they sell something like a silicone mold mix for edible stuff? Because obviously there's silicone molds for miniatures, right? For doing resin miniatures, but I don't think you'd want to eat out of those. Is there such a thing as molds that you can make and it would actually still be edible? Again, that I don't know. This is a cuisine channel, right, Valfira? But that is something about cuisine I'm not familiar with. So well, Camda, so Camda, I think you and Valfira are like literally the first two people that should get the files of the autocorrect monster bust, because again, for whatever reason, he seems to really target you guys. So yeah, Camda, I now here, let me scare up that pic. I gotta take a photo here anyway of the stunt. 1 second here. So there's the autocorrect monster. Nope, that's not what I wanted. 1 second here. There we go. So now look at that. Yes, indeed, the autocorrect monster. He actually exists now in 3D. So yes, the autocorrect monster, he lurks in the shadows, and as you can see, he's there to well, mess with all of your messages and stuff. So don't let the autocorrect monster target you. If he does, you can expose him to the light of day. Because of course, foul creatures like to hide in darkness, don't they, Jenga? Yes, the foul creatures, they want to hide in darkness. Well, we don't want to let him do that, right? We're gonna target him. We're gonna expose him again to the light of day. Hey there, Sea Dragon. Nice to see ya. So great to see you there, Sea Dragon. Happy New Year, all that good stuff. And again, we're just underway here. We just get to, actually, after this, I'm going to take a quick little picture of this because If you check out the Instagram, you'll see that we kind of do little step-by-step photos of this, because even with the video, all right, you can see kind of how it's painted, but it is really wild to see these various stages. So yeah, here, let me get rid of this. Let me take a picture of this now. 1 second. It's kind of on the shiny side there. Wait a minute. I don't want that. There we go. So now we're going to try and do some skinny tones on him there. So great to see you again there, Sea Dragon. Yeah, Sea Dragon. I don't think you got quite the rain that we got here. Or maybe, I don't think so. Not that far north. I don't think you did. It got crazy here. That's another reason why we're later there. And Sea Dragon, I don't know if you also saw the Trench Crusade bust. And well, I think you saw earlier that I have that Golden King of Abrakan character. That was one of the first characters, if you want to call it that, that I made back in the day, and I thought, oh boy, remember I even said, Camda, wouldn't it be cool if I could actually make a miniature of this? Now, I think I've got something that I can test print tomorrow. Again, the printing today wasn't going to happen because, well, reasons. Thank you so much, Peplon. I appreciate that. So this is the thing with all the space people, right? It's like, you're a gummy bear. You're going to call me a space person? It's like, well, I'm a terrestrial gummy bear. Well, at least I thought it was. I think he's actually a Maiar, but we're going to get a roll on the big Gandalf 6 for Papillon anyway. Ooh, look at that. That was a pretty decent roll right out of the gate. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Valfira, let's put it this way. If I hadn't done all of that stuff, remember the big 5 inches in 2 hours? If I hadn't done all the stuff, like the digging and adding the concrete and everything else, let's put it this way, Valfira, it could have been spicy. Yeah, could have been very spicy. Because again, that wasn't like an inch and a half over 2-3 days. That was like in an hour or so. So thank you so much, Papillon. Appreciate that. Now again, we might break into some of our floral orange here. Not so sure about that. We're do I have the flatter version of this here? I'm not so sure I've got the flatter version, but I do have these. So the original flats were very, very flat. You can see there's not much bas relief. These are the new versions. So you can see there's much more relief there. The other thing is they also have this frame around the outside, which is neat. Now they are much thicker. I don't think you can make them too thin, but yeah, this is the kind of a new and different type of flat right here. So great to see you there, Papillon. Now the very first one we ever painted was this. That was the very first flat that we did. Seems like years ago, right? Not that long ago at all. And again, here is another one. Again, this I have the flat version of this. This one, again, has much more dimension to it, which is very fun. In Valfira, if you looked at the rain bands, it was like somebody basically took a ruler and a protractor or something like that and said, well, let's just target a certain neighborhood. Remember that's what happened with the big 5 inches of rain? Well, Sea Dragon, it's always appreciated. It is always appreciated. And again, Sea Dragon, I hope that everything is going really well. Try and get me a little bit of our light in, and just to get kind of the ball rolling on our, well, mushroom clouds there, like so. Yeah, I'm gonna use this here. I'm gonna use that right in there. So, by the way, this is all oil paints, start to finish, All oil paints. Now all of this stuff looks super, super shiny. It's already, it's actually already starting to get to be less shiny because again, we did our usual kind of glazy stuff there. You can see now we're basically starting to dry brush into that glazy stuff. Valfera, yeah, I basically dug trenches outside the house. Actually, I do have that bag of concrete Valfera, so I'm hoping maybe even before Adepticon. Actually, there's other areas, Valfera, that I'm going to preemptively dig out and put the hydraulic cement there. So yeah, there's more hydraulic cement yet to come. Yeah, there's a part of me, Valfera, that says, why don't I just put do hydraulic cement on everywhere in the basement? Ah, that's fantastic, Sea Dragon. Hey there, Horns fan. Horns fan, that was pretty crazy. I do think that Mississippi State did have a claim to a little bit of PI in the end zone there. Now both sides missed a field goal, so I don't think you could say, wow, if they just made a field goal, because again, Miami, they had a field goal that they missed, so that's kind of a wash as far as I'm concerned. There was too many empty possessions early on, I think. So Camda, basically, it's a quick setting cement that even will set, like, even if it's in water. Now, the disadvantage of a Camda is you can literally only have a fistful of it at a time. So it's like you're making concrete snowballs. That's as much as you can use at any one time. And once it's ready to go, you've got maybe 2.5 minutes to do anything with it. Once it's past 2.5 minutes, you're done. Now, I think so, Camda. I think so. So, Horns fan, I hope that you're doing well. Now, again, see some of this stuff is really starting to set around here. Yeah, Horns fan. Well, obviously, I can't watch the games at all. So I think this time around I was using Football Nation instead of the Chat Sports. I guess hey Valfera, I actually get to see the Bears playoff game because it's on Amazon. That's the only playoff game I'll be able to actually see is the Bears one. I would not be surprised if that's the only game that they're in. I would be pleasantly surprised if that was not the case. Yeah, that's it's insane, Camden, because again, it's like there's nothing, and it's not like it just okay a little bit of rain or something like that. It's just it all is at once. It's like, oh look, we had normal rainfall for the month. Yes, we did. That month of rain all fell in 3 minutes, which is not so normal. It's just crazy, right, Camden? So again, now look at this. We can actually start getting into some of our skinny tones here for Baltar. This is wild. Again, I have this is the very first of the new style plinths, or sorry, plinths, flats. So I've been printing so many busts and stuff like that. I was just that was on the brain. That was on to wow. This is pretty wild. Again, I am so used to something more like say, this, right, where it's almost like just doing a regular painting. This is pretty wild here. Horns fan, I believe the last time they said was something like 2018 or whatever. And that was the double doink. I don't know if you remember that, Horns fan. Let me get a little more of that down in there. Now some of it here so you can kind of see that starts to emerge a little bit more there. Hey, Zistus, how you doing? So Zistus, I made these myself. The idea is that these, like all of the other files, like the gummy bears, the bust, files like this, because these are tutorial videos that I did on my Patreon page. The idea is that if you're part of the Patreon page, once I've got all these things tested out and the STO files are reasonably solid, basically I have a Dropbox folder, Zistus, and the folks that are on the Patreon page will have access to the flats, the miniatures, the busts, and I'm trying to do things like plinths. There's a bunch of stuff I'm trying to do. There's this that oh, like here. Oh, here we go. Oh, also the Eldritch Foundry stuff. So, like this one here, this was a tutorial video where, since this was relatively symmetrical, one side of them was done one way, the other side done another way. So one side was true metallic metal, the other side was non-metallic metal, and the idea was to show that there's no difference between the two. Now in Eldritch Foundry, I'm going to do a bust something like this, a bunch of armor, but I'm going to make it totally perfectly symmetrical because I can do that in Eldritch Foundry. I actually, Horns fan, I believe that was the Mitch Trubisky. Remember Mitch Trubisky, who actually I think he's playing in Pittsburgh now. It was either Fox or Nagy. What the Horns fan, right? It was either John Fox or Nagy. At that point, was the head coach. And of course, we'll be covering all the playoffs, both college and pro, on the Wappelville Sports Network, where we report the news before it is news. Soon enough, we'll be covering Aussie Rules football, right, Horns fan? Soon enough. March. Yeah, March is when Aussie Rules football begins anew. We wish we could celebrate the start of baseball season here, right, Horns fan? But that usually, well, that doesn't bring lots of celebrations here. Again, the team on the south side, not exactly filled with first ballot Hall of Famers, right, Horns fan? Yes, and of course, Camden will be leading the charge there. The far, far western fan club there of your Collingwood Magpies. That actually, Camden, we're gonna have to do some kind of animation for that. Yeah, some kind of animation for the Magpies fan club there. Let me do this. Horns fan, being the best thing to be, right, Horns fan, is a backup for a team where the quarterback never gets injured. Now, of course, the guy in Kansas City thought he was that quarterback, right, Horns fan? Until all of a sudden they said, hey, get out there. And he's like, wait, what? Is that in my contract that I'm actually supposed to play in games? I don't think that's in my contract. I believe, Horns fan, he thought he was just supposed to be holding a clipboard and an iPad. And that leather object with the laces on it, he's like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't do that. He says, I run the practice squad. I don't get out there on the field in games. Good old Garner Minshew. Actually, Horns fan, he got wiped out too. Like literally the next game, he did the same injury that Mahomes did. And then this other guy who, again, no one had ever heard of, the third stringer, he actually had to start that last game against the Raiders, I think. So now we got some cloudy things going on there. Oops, picture time. Almost forgot. 1 second here. Almost forgot. Actually, he comes with a special jersey there, Cam. You know how they have that special harness? Yeah, the emotional support quarterback comes with a special like harness and vest and a special jersey. All right, so we're starting to get some lighter stuff going on here. Actually, I might be able to. Let me see if I do have a zoom here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that here. So now we've zoomed in a little bit so you can see a bit more what is a happening here. Let's get us a little bit of this because he does kind of have a beard and a mustachio. Let's get him some of those like that. Also a bit more with the hair around here. Yeah, Horns fan. I do believe that Max Crosby and the other Raiders linemen definitely did that several times in that game against Kansas City. It was probably a little rougher than what he was thinking, but that did happen, I think. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's his thumb right there. All right, good to know. I think I'm going to start to get a little bit of something lighter in their buildings. Let me try this little combo of yeah, of our yellowish color and some of our violet there. It's been a very, very, very strange season, Horns fan. And of course, here's the thing, Horns fan, is who is who's going to be the coach of the Ravens, right? And do you think John Harbaugh is going to the Giants? Because that is kind of the leader in the clubhouse for the John Harbaugh sweepstakes right there. So Papillon, once obviously once you sign up, like when you do the upgrade thing, I'll send you an email with all the links. Obviously, that'll happen after the stream. So just a little heads up there. So thank you so much, Papillon. Appreciate that. Great to see you there, Landrast. Landrast Blood Bowl team is looking fabulous. Yeah, looking really good there, Landrast. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure it was pretty fun to see those all together, right, Landrast? A little bit of satisfaction on that. Never hurts, right? Seeing some nifty stuff that you painted. It didn't take all that long. I mean, really, all kidding aside, it wasn't all that long that you were painting those. Horns fan, I believe something like 25% of all NFL coaches have gotten fired. And here's the thing, Horns fan, apparently there were at least 4 teams that still have head coaches that were contacting him. Now, I think one of those was Miami, and they fired McDaniels today. Basically, if your name is not, like Jim Harbaugh or Ben Johnson, you're likely to maybe get fired. That's fantastic, Landrest. And Landrest, definitely, send me pictures of him out on the gridiron there, because that's really cool. Nice to see you there, Uber Yeti. Thank you so much. Well, actually, it's too bad we're not painting some Romulan ships, because that looks like Romulan ale, doesn't it? Unfortunately, that's just a new flavor of energy drink. So, yeah, that is not actual Romulan ale. I would have preferred Romulan ale. But we're all out of medicine, so there's just that. Yeah, Armored Wolf, all that medicine is gone. So Jenga, I know they were talking about him. Now there's a couple of quarterbacks I believe that maybe he doesn't have the best of relationships with, so there might be a couple of teams that he maybe avoids. Land rest, I certainly will take that. Right, I'll definitely take that. So great to see you there, Uber Yeti. Actually, Horns fan, they did some kind of change to the portal. I don't know what it was, but there is some kind of a change. I think it has to do with there's no I think there's no spring version of the portal. It's just this one right here. There's no second dose at it. Okay, that's it. That's it, Jenga. Let me see. So Jenga, it's kind of funny because I mean I saw Tua play at Bama for years. I also watched him get injured at Bama for years, right, Jenga? It's like, wow, he's doing great, fabulous. Oh, he's injured. And then the next year, wow, look at that great season. Oh, he's injured. And they weren't minor injuries, right, Jenga? It's basically if anybody touched him or if he fell on the ground too hard, he would be broken in 10 places. Let's do this. Well, Horns fan, of course, the portal is always open. And of course, at halftime, right, the coaches change sidelines. That's what you call your halftime adjustments, right, Horns fan? Yeah, those are the halftime adjustments. Jenga, it's just some players are just not meant like. Well, Jim McMahon was another one. Jenga. Now, of course, that could have been as much due to his play style as anything else, but he was always he was always getting wiped out. I mean, every season, even the Super Bowl year, I think people forget that he missed time in the Super Bowl year. Yeah, see, some of this, I still have to wait for some of that stuff to set a little bit more. Let me get this going. So Uber Yeti, actually Uber Yeti, if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead. Sorry about that, Uber Yeti. I meant to bring that up last stream. Sorry if I forgot. And of course, Camda, you want to share stuff too? Please go ahead. Let me keep on rolling with this here. So again, we're just kind of waiting on some of that glaze. It is starting to set because remember this was all shiny up here too. So not quite so shiny up there. I'm gonna start bringing in. You know what? I think I can. Yes, I can. I can definitely bring in some lighter stuff here. Color that right in there too. And we're gonna start to lighten up some of our stuff down here, like you do. Yeah, look at that. That has already set. So Horns fan, this is our Battlestar Galactica theme flats right here. So you've seen the Lord of the Rings ones, and well, I know you saw maybe some of the Arthurian themed ones too. So again, we've done tons of these Lord of the Rings themed flats, and then of course here's our Arthurian themed flats. And here's the new style of Lord of the Rings flats that we're testing out right here. Gonna get some nice light orange right there by his head. And that's gonna start to bring this out. Everybody check out that Instagram link that Uber Yeti just shared. Let's see. Actually, Jenga, I've seen. Oh gosh, I don't remember which service it is that does the custom patches. But Jenga, there's definitely because we've done a bunch of different things, right? We've done the stickers. I've even done the poker chips. Remember, I was giving these out at Adepticon last year. So I was gonna try and do some patches, Jenga, because I always liked those. Well, right, Velfera, former Boy Scouts. I was very used to patches. So Jenga, that's something I was thinking about. Was doing some patches for Adepticon of some of my favorite things. Now the patches can be a little bit jinky, right, Camda? Oh, and Camda, geez, actually Camda, I didn't send you the picture. The sweatshirt is here. Yes, Camda. If I didn't send you that picture already, my apologies. I'll try and do it tomorrow for you there. So sorry about that, Camda. I just put it in the laundry right away. I haven't even worn it yet, so maybe I'll try to wear that tomorrow. Yeah. A little bit more here. Again, that's our kind of lighter orange yellow around them there. Sorry about that, Camda. I think I actually Camda. I think the only people I sent it to was Kathy's family. Yeah, I think I sent it to them because I was telling them that was on the way. Okay, so that's starting to bring out more of his details there. So thanks for doing that, Papillon. And again, Papillon, once the stream is over and stuff, I'll be sending you and actually, Papillon, make sure that you look for that in your spam folder. For some reason, the stupid things end up in people's spam folders. So yeah, you wanna double check that because that is very annoying for sure. So there's our painted Galadriel right there. Actually, this was really wild because there's her sleeve is reflected in here. There's marble texture there, and actually was reflected on this part here. So there's actually multiple reflections into the mirror pool. Now, the other thing I am working on, actually, I have a Galadriel figure with a mirror pool, but this is basically Dark Queen Galadriel because we haven't done enough Dark Queen Galadriels, right? It's not like we haven't done also a gummy bear version of our Dark Queen Galadriel. Where's our main one? Ah, here we go. Yeah, that was super fun doing that. So there's our Dark Queen Galadriel in regular and gummy bear form. Where's our Golem? Where did he go? Don't see him there. Don't see him there. Is that Golem? Nope, that's not Golem. There he is. So here we go. So there's our gummy Golem right there. Oh, actually, Armored Wolf, I was gonna take the dirty down stuff and have drips coming down onto the base now that this is dry. So yeah, I'm gonna try that with the dirty down. No problem there, Papillon. And well, here's hoping you don't get too much ice, right, Velfair? That stuff can be really nasty. Yeah, Horns fan is like, yeah, tell me about it, right, Horns fan, with the ice and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right here. So basically, reflected orangey light on the bottoms of our clouds, or mushroom clouds there. So Landrest, hopefully you had yourself some fun today. And again, those were looking really good. And like you say, that didn't take all that long to get those babies painted up, especially what would you say, the second round of them there, Landrest? Uber Yeti, I don't think I've actually, no, I did use Didn't I did use the snot stuff, right, Uber Yeti? Wasn't I making icicles out of that? I could swear that also was. I also made icicles with that. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but something tells me I actually made icicles out of that. Actually, Armored Wolf, have you made icicles out of the dirty down snot? Actually, oh gosh, I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can find the sticker. I actually did a sticker of Dark Queen Galadriel. Let me see. That's not it. That is not it. Actually, it's a glow in the dark. Yes. I don't see it here. Actually, Jenga, if you look at the merch section of the Twitch channel here, there is I believe there's a glow in the dark Galadriel sticker. Dark Queen Galadriel, Jenga. Yep, and it says all shall love me in despair. Actually, Jenga, it glows so bright that I went in the basement once and I'm like, what's this green light? That's how bright it is. It looked like it was, instead of like, okay, it has a little bit of a glow to it, it actually was casting its own light, Jenga. And it was almost like casting a shadow. That's how bright the glow was from it. Nice to see you there, Irid. Everybody, please give Iridican Wife a follow. That is 50 streams in a Yep, that is a 50 stream streak right there. Iridican Wife. So great to see you there, Irid. Irid, why don't you share some stuffs in the chat? Everybody, please check out Irid's Pinterest link for all kinds of fabulous jewelry and such. So, Recoil, I haven't really had a chance to look at it. There were a few little errors on it. Because I wasn't quite sure how to support it, Recoil, so I'd have to print it out again. Actually, Recoil, it's not as tiny as I thought. Well, the problem is, Recoil, I've gotten used to some of those gigantic FDM busts. That's the size that I used to print all busts. Actually, Recoil, that was almost kind of semi-large compared to the bust that I used to print. So everybody check out the link that Papillon just shared, and again also that Iridican Wife just shared. Please check out the link that Uber Yeti shared a little bit ago. Check out all the Insta links there. And again, check out that Pinterest link that Irid just shared. You'll be doing the usual stream, Friday, Saturday streams, right, Irid? Oh, that is not symmetrical there. That's interesting. So Recoil, it's going to be pretty wild. Obviously, it's going to be sort of a limited color or limited whatever palette, I guess, exercise, technically. Because not a lot of colors on him, right? But it should be a pretty hilarious stream. Let me do this. Actually, Recoil. Wonder if I should do a flat of him where it's just like a whole bunch of mangled keys or a whole bunch of like nonsensical type and phrases around him. So yeah, Recoil, that would be interesting to do a flat of the autocorrect monster with all that extra stuff on it. So it's confirmed there will be the usual Friday, Saturday streams by Iridican Wife. So again, everybody please give Iridican Wife a follow. And Recoil, I think those it would be really neat if you could do those miniatures too, like you were talking about. Yeah, I think that would be super neat if you could do those. A little more of this and some of that on the frame section there. Let me stroll back to some of this here? Is this set? Nope, still not set enough for me to mess around with that. And then we're going to wait a little bit longer on the text. Let's get to his little uniform deal right here. Yeah, recoil, obviously, well, the other thing too is just got to learn Blender for doing some of the cleanup things. Like there's one of my, it was the Shadow Lord thing. I just wish I could go into Blender and just like say, okay, I'm going to cut this thing off, we'll separate it, and we'll print that separately. Uh, Again, it's all a learning process, right? Recoil. Yeah, Cam, I've never seen any of the movies. I've never seen any of the movies, but I've seen enough of the, I don't know, what would you say, thumbnails or something like that to know there's a bit of a similarity there. We're also going to, we're going to get some greens in the shadow parts of the skinny tones there too. Yeah, we'll be doing that soon enough. Let me do this a little bit again, a little bit of the lighter stuff in here, not a ton. So Jenga was wondering where the merch store is on the Twitch thing. That should be on my profile there, Jenga. Yeah, if you look at my Twitch profile, that should be one of the first things that you see, I believe. Yeah, you can always doing anything on Twitch on. Oh, there we go. So thanks, Recoil. So Jenga, Recoil just got you a link there. And so Jenga, also too, you could shoot me a message on Instagram there, and then I could send you a picture because I think I have the glow in the dark ones. Oh, maybe not. Oh, those might not be the glow in the dark ones, Jenga. There's a glow in the dark version of that. It's the same design. It's just it won't have the glow in the dark stuff. That's right. But it is the same design. Actually, Rico says that is not correct. Let me get some of the belt there. Pockets is more of the lighter stuff. Here, another pockets is over there. You get this. Yeah, it's another fold there. So again, it should be on my Twitch profile thing, and it should be, I don't know how prominent it's going to be, because obviously it's different for me when I sign onto my own Twitch thing than when someone else does it. Yeah, I'm going to lighten that a little more. Some of these folds a little more. We're actually going to be coming back into this with some more of our darks as well. So yeah, Jenga, now I do believe that would actually work as a patch because the design itself is just, it's essentially black and white. And those kind of patches, well, it's a little bit easier to make those into patches, right, Camda? Remember, was it the hat? What was I think it was the hats. It was the hats that had the embroidery. That's it, yes. And there was craziness with the design and the embroidery and stuff, so let me get a little bit more of our light here, and then we'll come back. Like I said, we're going to come back with some of our much darker stuff and some of the shadow areas on the sleeves there. Let me get, oh, look at this, some chromium oxide green. Actually, Camda, as I was filming that video, with the those containers, what I'm gonna do, remember the crazy colors that we were mixing? I think it was wasn't it the last stream? I'm actually gonna mix some of those, Cam, and put them in containers. So what is that, like not radiant, phthalo green turquoise shade or phthalo green violet shade or something like that. We're actually going to do those, Camda. They will actually exist. Let me do this. So now you can see we've got a little bit of our green in there. So the thing is, Camda, two thing is this latch, but this is the key. This silicon part, this is the difference. So that I'm not so sure you could print that out. This you probably could ish, but it's the thing that made it is the silicon stuff. And I'm pretty sure if you printed it out, airtight would not be one of the things we would say about what the print would do. Yeah, I would doubt that that would be airtight in any way, shape, or form. And that's the whole point of those is that they are airtight. It's funny, Camda, I still have never printed out a latch thing yet. Or I think I might have tried to print out one and it didn't go so well. Yeah, that's that one didn't. I don't think that one latch really worked out all that well. See you in a bit there, Arid. See you in a bit. Let me get this here. So now you can see this is starts to take shape, right? Are we even now? Okay, we're 1 hour in. I'm like, I don't even know if we're an hour in on this thing. Now let's fool around with some darker stuff here. No, more of our indigo. More darks. Actually, that's going to be part of his hand there, so we need to go the opposite route there on that part of his hand. Yeah, let's make that darker too. Also a little bit there. More here. Do I want more dark down? Yes, I do. I does want some more dark there. Also, pockets is more on the pants. Now, Landress, you're not going to be doing a Blood Bowl league, right? Just, you and M-Tellies once in a while or something like that. Just playing some games at the Casa, right? Unless you were going to be getting into a league at the game castle there in Santa Clara. So Jenga, I actually have a ton. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can get to some of these here. Give me a second. It's going to take a little bit. I believe these are are these all the Japanese themed ones? No, these are the BSG ones. Well, actually, here's again. We have tons of our Japanese themed flats here. 1 second. There we go. So we have tons of these that we've been working on. And then here's, again, some of our BSG flats. Oh, yeah, Tom Zarek. That was one of my favorites right there. And then we've got, again, there's Chief Tyrrell, Adama. Oh, there's another Baltar right there. There's a oh, look at that, another Baltar right there. And we got a couple of versions of Laura Rosalind. And there's Commander Adama right there. We had Lee Adama first. There's another version of Roz. And of course, there's Angel Starbuck. Remember Angel Starbuck? Where can I put these? I'll just go back in there. So we have several versions of Baltar. There are just like Zathras. There are many Baltars, right? Right, Camda. We need some lighter stuff on his hair here. It still was hilarious, Camda, the episode of Midsummer Murders where he played two characters. He played twin brothers. So apparently that's like his gig. He's constantly playing twin brothers, like, one is like kind of psychotic or nasty or whatever, and then the other one is very almost like, kind of the fool or something like that. I'm going to try and make that a little bit lighter up here. Actually, Recoil, if you wanted to shout out Rot and such, please go ahead and shout him out. Sorry, Recoil, I meant to say that way earlier. Sorry about that, Recoil. Yeah, the Rot and Burnsy and stuff. We go even lighter here on his schnoz. On parts of the forehead here. Hey there, Revless. How you doing? Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Just had to get there. There was some fuzz on there or something like that. Had to get rid of that. Now we're talking. Oh, that's fantastic, Revlith. Get more on his nose since I just wiped that paint away. Let's get that restored there. More light up here. Yeah, those. Oh gosh, the Osts. I forget what. Oh, not a flak. It wasn't a flak Verling. It was. No, it wasn't a flak Verling. How you doing there, Doji? So those were looking really fantastic, Doji. I don't know if you've got those in a new Insta post or anything like that, Doji. But if you wanted to share those, please go ahead. Those were looking great. I wasn't sure if you had those in a new Insta or not. I know you just, I think it was what, a few hours ago that you sent them to me, so might not have them there. No problem there, Doji. No problem. Again, great to see you no matter what. And as always, thanks for being here too. Appreciate that. How's about I get me some of this, and we go even lighter on some of our orangey yellow here around him there. Now that should be really fun to work on there, Revlist, for sure. Can't miss some more of this in here. A little bit of our yellowish orange on this stuff now. Now this is back more towards the orange. So Doji, Saturday night, or for your, I guess, Sunday morning, Doji, the Bears are playing that first playoff game. Yeah, Doji, and it's playoff time at Soldier Field. Come Saturday. A little lighter in there. Again, just trying to make some more of the fiery type stuff going on there. Let me get rid of this. Oh, picture time. Gee whiz. Let's do the pictures here. I think I can maybe finally get some of the lighter stuff down on the text there as well. It's looking less shiny down there. Well, I can do it on this side. No, maybe not on the other side, but at least on this side here. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that will help. There we go. I do believe tomorrow there will be more Lord of the Rings themed gummy bears because I've got. Oh, and I had to. I'm going to try and actually, it's another thing. Recoil. I have to try and make another, like the fourth test print of the Sauron one because I think maybe it was Armored Wolf. That one was so big. Recoil, like the physical size of the file was so big. I had to print it at less than 1%. Needless to say, that was a disaster for the cloak. It just disintegrated every time I printed it. So I was able to save that one like at a fraction of the size. Instead of 30 meters tall, it is now just like 4 inches tall. So that should give me a better print. We'll see if that holds true, because that actually Armored Wolf, that's one of the key things for a bunch of these different files. Because some of the, like the Kamul, the Easterling characters, obviously these are true scale, so when I print these out in 28 mil, it gets a little bit dicey on some of them. So yeah, recoil, that was one of the hard lessons that I learned. Yeah, I thought, okay, it's just downloading it. Oh no, you control the size of the thing that you're downloading. And pretty much almost all of the gummy bears, like the first 20 of them that I did recoil, they're that colossal size. So I don't know how to resize them. Uh, I thought I could just do it in, what is that, the Windows version. I think it's called 3D something, whatever the heck it is. It's whatever the Windows version of, sort of like a bad version of Blender. I tried, I couldn't see anything for basically scaling the size of it down there from, again, 40 something feet tall to something a little bit more manageable. Let me get some darker eyebrows on him here. Also some eye lids there. So that is helpful. We need some darks here too again. And then there's definitely some over here. That don't go there. Well, look at that. We can just kind of wipe that away. Yeah, recoil. I just I would bring those into Chidu Box or whatever, and they would be absolutely gargantuan. They were so giant they were filling up the entire screen. And again, that is why they're not in that Dropbox folder yet. Because all the crazy stuff that I'm finding out and dealing with, well, then you would also find out and go like, what the heck is going on with these? So that's why they are not in the Dropbox folder yet, because otherwise it's like, okay, here, good, you figure this out. So I'm trying not to have that be the case. I might try to go a little bit more of our sky blue. Let me try to get a little bit of this in here towards the bottom of these. Not too much up towards the top there. maybe a little over there. We fade that some more too. So we're what, an hour and a half? Not even an hour and a half in. Not even an hour and a half into our fabulous new. Again, this is the very first of our Battlestar Galactica ones. So recoil, yeah, unfortunately, like I was telling you in the message, it completely mangled the Battlestar Galactica nameplate. So what I would do in the future, recoil, and I might, I don't really have, well, I guess I could. I'd have to re-render all the stuff. So recoil, what I would do is just do it again where it's just blank. Then do the nameplate separately, and that's something that I would just print and then stick on there afterwards, recoil. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need the nameplate on there anyways. But yeah, it really, it did not like that very much at all. And essentially turned it into like part Cyrillic alphabet, part Sumerian, and also part, I think you could say a little bit of, whatchamacallit, to Sanskrit, yeah. It was a very weird hybrid font and hybrid language. So thank you so much, Papillon. Appreciate that. And actually, Papillon, I'll be streaming again the next couple of nights. So we're doing our, obviously this was our Thursday stream. I'll be doing a stream Friday. We'll be doing a stream on Saturday. And we will be doing some Battlestar Galactica ships on Monday because I have another ship printed out. That's the Tauron battleship, Camda. Yeah, the one I was telling you about. That's we'll be painting that one up on Monday. I also have the base ready for it. So yeah, we've got we're good to roll on another Battlestar Galactica ship there. Ship number 15. Yeah, ship number 15. So that's one of the 12 colonies. So Camda, obviously you've got your 12 zodiac constellations, right? You have Taurus, Gemini, Scorpio, Cancer, Virgo, and then so the 12 colonies are obviously named after those 12 signs of the zodiac. So you have Arelon, which is Aries. You've got Tauron, which is for Taurus. You have Caprica, right, for Capricorn. You have Picon for Pica, or Pisces, the fish, right? And you've got Sagittarian, right? Sagittarius. And then Gemini, that's kind of the religious planet there, Camda. Tauron, wouldn't you say wouldn't you say recoil? That's the it's the planet of Elrond. Yeah, that's Elrond's planet right there. Tauron, yeah. Let's put it this way, Camda. You don't want to be wearing concrete footwear near any open bodies of water on Tauron. That would be a very poor fashion choice, for sure. Little bit. Nope, that went a little too far. Hey there, Dino. How you doing? Great to see you again there, Dino. Do that right here. I don't know if you've ever seen Caprica. That I really did enjoy that show. Again, if that show was on now, I think it would have done far better than when it was first on. But yeah, if you can, and I still haven't managed to find that stupid first DVD there. Recall it. Not that it matters. Not that I could even watch any of that stuff. Oh, that's fantastic, Dino. I hope that you're going to have some fun. Are you going to be playing some games, doing classes, or doing tourneys or something? Well, no matter what you're doing there, hopefully you have lots and lots of fun doing it. Trying to lighten this. Let me a little bit of that in there too. Further up with this. Get a little more on the forehead there. Yeah. Yeah, Camda, I still am going to try to make obviously some busts of our favorite characters. Obviously, Londo, Jakar, Ivanova, Marcus, and well, Dolin. Do some more of that here. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit on this outer edge over here too. That was I mean, you were all ready to claim the emperorship of Centauri Prime there, Camda. Actually, Camda, you might want to be careful where you're wearing that wig. You never know when there's a Narn that's going to be lurking somewhere. Yeah, Camda, I think that was such a spinning image there. You might find yourself hunted down by a Narn or something like that. So be careful. Gotta get him some ears there. Camda, that really was very good. Let me see here. It's a little too. There we go. Okay. Need to take that down a little bit more there. Let me see. We need a little something there. I guess we'll hit that a bit more. Oh, I need to lighten up this side too. There we go. So we're getting there. We are getting there now. Let me see. Where is I think there we go. So yeah, I think those would be very fun as busts, wouldn't they, Camda? I think those will work out pretty well. Where's our oh, there's our Delenn right there. So those were super fun. Let me get back to that. Because this is a Pro B5 channel, right, Recoil? We are all Zathras in this channel, aren't we, Recoil? Let me choose this. That needs maybe more of the violet. Let's go back to that here. There we are, yeah. There's a little too much of that skinny tone there. Had to get rid of that. Now that is finally started to set in this little thing here. So I think I can maybe get this around the outside. Let me see here. Finally. Yeah. Yes, of course, Recoil, you should always read the Book of Wapol in the original Narn text. Yes, you should. The translation never does it justice, right, Recoil? Yes, you definitely have to consume the Book of Wapol in the original Narn. Let me do this here. I mean, if Garibaldi could learn Narn, everybody can learn Narn. Get the light going there too. So again, this is all starting to take shape. I'm going to do a picture here pretty darn soon because this is, we got some nice little changes, I believe, since our last picture. There we go, and then some of it on that side. Let's get this part of it here. Nope, more down here. I'm going to take, let me try some of this here on these buildings. Well, ruins, I guess, maybe is more accurate here. Might have to get some orangey stuff reflected on them too. We'll probably have to, we'll definitely have to come back with some darks in here. No doubt about that. Let me choose this here. Yep, a little bit of that lighter stuff there. And then we will have to come back into this, I think, with some of our kind of orangey stuff too on parts of our cityscape there. Some more stuff over here. Get some lights on top of some of these buildings. Buildings there. And then this one down here. Let me get a little bit more of the violet into that. For this one here. Here now. Maybe a touch of that, and the rest would be, I think, more of our darks. Now on our clouds up here, we'll also hit those in a sec. First, though, picture time. But yeah, these pictures, I throw them up on the Instas. These little step-by-step images here, so that people can at least have a chance to kind of more closely examine the differences. And of course, again, the latest showcase video is right there. That's the newest Army of the Dead showcase video. Maybe this will work. Maybe that will work. I'm gonna go with. Let me try this here. The green and the Van Dyke brown together. See what that's gonna do. That was too much. Take that away. I'll do it from this direction then. Better idea. Then we'll probably try to get some of this in here too. Not too much. So again, this is the very first one that I'm also trying to figure out. Okay, are these homemade frames? Well, the incorporated frames, I guess I should say. Is it just easier to make? Which one of them is easier to paint? Because I think there's 6 different designs. I've printed out at least 4 of them. And this again is why they haven't been put in a Dropbox folder yet, because while they're still very much in flux, there's a lot of testing yet to be done on these. And they do this here. The files are also all over the place. And by all over the place, I mean like on like 5 or 6 different machines. Alright, now let me take some of this green. Maybe even drop that in the few little parts of our cityscape there. Yep, that's the one. Where's my jar? Oh, there it is. There's my thinner. We gotta get that on our not radiant green, and on our white there. Fine, I'll just grab some of that yellow. Start breaking this down again, getting more of the white in there. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. I don't know which ones of the Lord of the Rings gummy bears we'll be doing on the next stream. Possibly Mouth of Sauron, and I think the Warg Rider's all set to go, so those two for sure. We also have a Legolas. I think that is ready to rock and roll. I'll see if I can get the Gimli also ready. Let me see, what were the other ones that I printed out? A Gimli. There was... What the heck else was it that I printed out there? Oh, Elrond. Yes, Gimli, Elrond, those two printed out okay. Oh, there was a Wapilius Spellbrush. That's right. Yeah, I printed out a new Wapilius Spellbrush Gummy Bear. Yes, Wapilius Spellbrush in gummy form. That's right. I'm like, there was one that was pretty wild and crazy. Yeah, that's the one. Still breaking this down here. Let me just keep doing that. There we go. So you can see that starts having a little more shine to it, and we'll do the same thing over here on some of our patterns outside. I don't know which one of these would you say, technically easier to paint? Is it this version? Is it the one that is much flatter than this? I tend to kind of like the ones that are much flatter, because then it's, well, more like doing a two-dimensional painting for me. So those are kind of the ones that I'm leaning towards, but other folks might want this more heavy texture. Actually, Armored Wolf, I saw Penny had another post there about the whatever she's doing with the flats, and those things really look super, super flat. It's funny, because here I was thinking that mine were like too flat, and then I see hers, I'm like, man, those make mine look like massive bas reliefs. Nice to see there's surface tension. Surface tension. Why don't you do the usual there and share some of your stuff in the chat? So great to see there's surface tension. I hope that you're having a fabulous day, or at least a fabulous start to it. Everybody check out the link that Surface Tension is going to post here, because Surface Tension also does the oil paints there. And those were looking really nifty. Your gobos there, Surface Tension. So yeah, now this one here is, well, even this one, even with the frame, that's only about a quarter of an inch thick there. And that's for sure, right, Armored Wolf. And again, like I said, once I have something a little bit more manageable here, I'll try to get you some of those so that also too, Melissa can test out some. So everybody check out those gobos there. That's surface tension painted. Get some more fabulous oil painted stuff right there. So now that is starting to really pick up there. That is very much starting to pick up. And then we're actually going to have to then let this have a chance to set here for sure. Yeah, even that has to have a bit more of a time to set. Yeah, surface tension. Well, to me they work better than acrylics because, well, guess what, right? With the pin line washi stuff, they can be, for lack of a better term, they can be smaller, right? Surface tension. So to me, the smaller scale stuff is only easier to paint with the oils than it is with the acrylics. I'm still trying to figure out the 10 millimeter figs. I might actually have to design my own. Yeah, recoil. I'm starting to think maybe I need to just do my own orcs to print at 10 mil instead of trying to take the existing ones and shrink those down that tiny. Thanks, surface tension. Appreciate that. Yeah, surface tension. Actually, what I was thinking of doing, speaking of tiny scale surface tension, I was thinking about printing out the City of the Dead, like the before version, really, really tiny. Like the whole thing could practically fit on this little plaque right here. And then see if I couldn't make that into some kind of little diorama there, surface tension. Man, surface tension, it's pretty wild, right? I mean, you can do all the same things and then some. Do this here. And again, everybody check out that link that Surface Tension posted. Again, some more fabulous oil painted miniatures. So yeah, recoil. I'm thinking that I'll go in there and say, look, I need 10 mil figs. They need to be kind of boxier and bulkier so that they print out okay. Because I think of all the figs that I tried their recoil, they were Diwali figs, which are super dainty even at 28 millimeter scale. Yeah, surface tension. What was it? That black gate that printed out nice enough. Nice enough for sure. Let me do that, and then we'll get the little stuff here along the top now. And then we'll probably come back into, well, we have to do some of the stuff around the lettering too. Come on, there we go, the little tops of these. Because now some of them were okay, but again, those were the ones that were kind of the one-piece sculpts that were very boxy, and they did not have tiny little swords or spears or something like that. I guess you got to go super heroic scale, right? Surface tension with 10 millimeter figs there. Yeah, 10 millimeter and true scale may not work out so well for the printing. Where are we at? Oh yeah, other side here. Let's get this. We never really did this one over here. Sorta did that one. More light here. Yeah, fine. We'll lighten up this stuff a little bit over there. I'm gonna back away a little bit away from that really light yellow. Let me get a little more of that Mars yellow deep in there. Now we're talking here. I'm just trying to think back to the Flames of War figs that I painted, Rico, and those were metal. I mean, we're talking about 10 millimeter World War II figs cast in metal, so they had to be. Again, there's no way those were true scale. At least I think that's the scale for Flames of War, right? 10 millimeter, or is it 15? I think it's 10. It's been a little while since I've seen my Flames of War stuff, so I'm a little foggy on that. If somebody else knows, let me know. I'm gonna see if I can't maybe go a little lighter here. We'll take this. And try to get some lighter highlights on his here, right in there. There we go. Of course, at hour 3, that's when we'll break out the fast matte white there. So, Grand Oracle, I hope that you're doing well. Grand Oracle, I don't know if you saw, but the autocorrect monster test. What would you say? The test print of the autocorrect monster seems to have worked well, Grand Oracle. Also, the first Trench Crusade bust is also now printed. I will try to cure those after the stream tonight so that they will be ready to show tomorrow. Camden, yeah, I would have already started filming that series if it wasn't for kind of all the test prints and everything going haywire. And actually, Camden, maybe it would be even better, like for the people, that if I just make the figures, right? And then that way people wouldn't have to be like, okay, I'm going to take random Mordor Orc X or something like that and just try to reduce it like 200% and see what happens. This, yeah, actually, I think this works out, Grand Oracle. I think this is a good idea. Actually, recoil, that's, again, they just would have a more heroic scale, right? And they would also, like things, single poses, very simple poses, right? They don't have to be super dramatic and dynamic. And now I know, save those things or download those things at go in and make sure that they're not 30 meters tall, right? Recoil. Because, yeah, that's still insane to think that's how big it made those things. Oh, that's strategery right there, Grand Oracle. That is strategery. Strategery at its best. But, oh, wait a second. Wait a minute. What about the Eldritch Foundry ones? I wonder if that's something that. No, I don't think so because you're still saving them at 28 mil. obviously we could make those are heroic scale. Where's well, maybe not as heroic scale as I thought. I well, see the weapons are heroic scale though. So I don't know, maybe that's an idea. Well, we could make it part of the video. We'll do a test. I mean, I have to do stuff in Eldritch anyway. I'm gonna be doing some more busts like that one for the non-metallic true metallic combo bust there. Because we don't have enough stuff that we're doing, we need to try and tack on some more. So we'll do that with the Eldritch Foundry. Because why not? Oh, gee whiz, yeah. Let's get more of our lighter cloud stuff down there. I was telling Recoil before the stream that we've done so many kind of major accomplishments. I think the next thing is the Blender stage, Camda, because that's where I could fix up some of these little things that sort of make the files. It's like, well, it's pretty good, almost usable, but there's this one flaw or whatever. I think maybe in Blender that would be a way to, shall we say, blend away the flaws, right, Camda? We're going to be doing another picture here real soon. Now, Grand Oracle, you're going to get a chance to do some miniature painting stuff this weekend. Hopefully, anyways. Trying to get me a little bit more of my light stuff there. We will get some of our lighter orangey stuff down here. Not going to use the white there. I'm going to use more of the orange. And of course, anything that I learn in Blender, that is also something that I will put on the Patreon page. Just like the Eldritch Foundry, just like the meshy stuff, all the stuff that I've been learning. That would be part of either our sculpting vids or part of our printing workshop series. That's fantastic. Actually, Grand Oracle, if there's something that you want to share in the chat, like always, please feel like you can do that. I wonders. Let me some of this. Nope, nope, nope. That should have some kind of a greenish color to it. Let me try this. Yeah. Still need a... Let me see. I'm gonna... Maybe I won't go... I was gonna go more to the orange on that reflected light there, but let me try... I want something that's got more of the green in it. Let me try this. Here. Now that's for sure Grand Oracle. You know, that does actually help there, yeah. Top of his eyelid there. There. Might have to do also a picture here pretty soon. Get caught up on that. I always try to have at least 10 to 15 pictures or so taken of these things. Speaking of which, let me do one right now while I'm still thinking about it here. Oh, and by the way, these crazy Lexan blocks here, those have been perfect for doing, well, the showcase videos and all the photography. I mean, if you notice, between that, oh, and that mirrored thing, that's right, that rotating mirror thing, that has just been fantastic. I highly recommend those for miniature photography. Grand Oracle, we will be doing some TMM stuff soon enough. Actually, I'm going to be doing a bunch of Mordor stuff, and I think we did that on the Urukai, didn't we, Grand Oracle? We did TMM on the Urukai. I think we'll do again some TMM on the. I think we'll do them on some of the Mordor guys. Hey there, Bacon. How you doing? Thank you so much, Bacon Hagen. Appreciate that. And of course, it's only appropriate here on this stream to say, so say we all. Also, too, there is a Battlestar Galactica showcase video. So when you, here, we'll just put this back up again, because there's a whole playlist now. There's not just this one showcase vid. There is an entire playlist there. This is just one of them. There's the Gandalf video. There's the Denethor video. There's the Battlestar Galactica video. So there's a bunch of vids there now in that playlist. So go check that out. The Battlestar Galactica one, that was kind of the first one where I really was starting to get down to, okay, this is how I want to approach these things. That's the contents under pressure, right? Surface tension. The Gamlin Silver, contents under pressure. I wonder, hopefully it's not too late. Also, hopefully not too much. Okay, yeah, I figured I had to make it a little bit thinner. Or, sorry, a little bit thicker there. Just, yeah, that works. So everybody check out that link again. That is the latest showcase video. And well, I guess you can kind of see surface tension, just how massive that City of the Dead was. Believe it or not, that's one of the smaller terrain pieces. Because Minas Morgul is way bigger than that. Even Isengard is bigger than that. Helm's Deep, bigger than that. Yeah, that is not the biggest terrain piece. Most everything else I printed is actually larger than that. Now, that's probably the biggest, like, single blob piece or something like that. See, so Grand Oracle and Surface Tension have a few war stories, right, with the Gamlin Silver. Couple of war stories there. I'm trying to think the last time I used Gamlin Silver. I couldn't tell you when. It's been a long time, though. Years. It has been years. Fine, we'll get a little bit of that. I might still need to do... Oh, I'll do that. Maybe the darks. Yeah, we'll have to go back into those with our darks, I think. So our mushroomy clouds. I'm starting to get some of the bright stuff down here. Like you do. Some flames there in our cityscapes. And actually, Camda, if you wanted to share your Instagram link again, actually, all right, geez, Camda, we're going to be streaming this weekend. Holy smokes! Yeah, that's the other thing. Since you're streaming again, will you be streaming this weekend? Let me take that bit away there. We'll come back with our darker stuff over the top of that too, but also, let me try and do some more here. We got Prussian blue. Let's break out the Prussians here. Don't even care if that goes over the top of some of our white there. That's fine. Because I can just come back and do that. No problemo. Now what I might do is come back with a little bit more of our maybe darks there. Or I just wait till we break out our fast matte white. Again, that'd be hour 3. We are at, hour 2 now. We are now in our second hour of our very first Battlestar Galactica flat. Very first one. Haven't done these at all before. I think our next one will probably be, I haven't tried any of my Arthurian ones yet, so I think that's the next one. We'll do some of, maybe one or even 2 of our Arthurian flats. Now he's got himself a little bit of a belt there. Pure orange. I'm going to start filling some of this in here. Actually, this is the other thing too. I was given a bunch of film. Ironically enough, yes, this is. I'm not joking here. Film noir era stuff like Jimmy Cagney and that sort of stuff, almost like movie poster type things that a friend of mine wanted me to print out for him. Well, first of all, create, then print out, because he's really liking the idea of flats, and he's never painted a flat. He's done tons of, again, film noir, the kind of 1930s and 40 horror movies and that kind of stuff. So he wanted to try his hand at flats, and he actually made these very interesting flats, again, of some film noir stuff. So I'll try to also turn that into flats. His stuff already looks like a bronze bas reliefs, so who knows, I might actually do a better job of those than it's doing of my designs. It's possible. You never know. Okay, there. I am gonna go a little. There we go. Some of our darker grayish violet on that part of the clouds there. Some more of that here. Good to go. Now back to some of our really dark stuff in the shadows here on our cityscape. On these two. To make them look more skeletal, a little less solid. Like this, I believe. Darker in all of these areas too. darker there. I'm going to go with kind of this greenish gray that's going to go down here. Push that around. Take that away from there. Back to our darker stuff. Behind that. Oh, more cityscape here too. Let me do that. Like this. This side too. Maybe even get a little bit of a more of an orangey brown into this. Let me see if that's going to work. Yep, that's going to work. That's going to help to kind of anchor this a little more. Bingo. Yeah, that was a good plan there. And actually, some of this might also here. Let me do the pure orange. In there. Where are we at here with that? Yeah, there it is. So now it looks like we have some more flames and such stuff happening over there. Darker orange up in here. Now we're talking. That'll set up. I can go back in with a pure orange around some of that too. And in a second here, I'm going to snap another picture since this is kind of a big change what we just did right here. That is definitely a big old change. Let me get a picture of that. So Camden, yeah, I can't wait to, again, it's not going to be a super long video, but I'll try to do early in the day tomorrow. I'll try to finish the filming on our containers here. And again, this one was super nifty because, again, you got the extra silicone in there, right, for the seal, and then there's room enough to put these little mini pallets that I cut out of the same exact pallet paper that we use all the time. When in doubt, make stuff darker, and that is what we are going to do here on our frame. Yeah, I think that was the way to go. Yep. You know what? I might just go much darker overall here with that even further down. Ooh, not too much thinner, not too much thinner. This is a little mix of our umber and our Mars black. Yeah, that was a good idea, I think. And you go there. Now I'll get rid of that. Hey there, Sector X. Great to see ya. Actually, surface tension. Well, I think the world might be relieved to know that the latest batch of chocolate-covered raisins that Kathy's family sent to me, that the last few of those was consumed earlier today. So the world is safe for just a little bit. Surface tension. So great to see you there, Sector X. Well, hopefully you get a chance to mess around with that thing. So Camda, like you'll hear in the video, the primary reason is Adepticon. I need, for all intents and purposes, I need to have at least a dozen colors of Alkids in the hands of 18 people. Now, again, maybe there's not 18 people, but I believe that's the potential class size. So I need to have somehow, and that's what the small tubes were for. Remember, Camda, that wasn't all that long ago. I did a video and we were putting paint in the tubes, and that was a nightmare. The other thing too was the expense of it. It was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And I said, this is just not working. It would have also taken 10 years to just get one person's paint in those things. And then I saw these containers and I went, wait a second. It was not what I was originally looking for on Amazon. I just saw those and went, wait a minute. Those just might work. So Sector X, yeah, I was telling folks that Blender is kind of the next stage so that I can kind of get in and do some alterations on some of the things I'm doing. Because, again, we're getting some really nifty results. There's just some little things that I would like to be able to clean up or alter or something like that. Okay, so see, now we're getting some of the orange out in here. That is really starting to help for some more of our contrast there. Get some of this and some of that. Again, that's got a little bit more of the red in there now. Maybe make that a smidge darker there too. Okay. Now again, there is this does add a little bit of shininess here, right? That will go away, and what shininess does not go away, we can definitely get rid of whatever is left of that with our Army Painter Anti-Shine. Hey, Sano, how you doing? Many thanks there, Sano. This is a test of a couple of different things. It's a first Battlestar Galactica flat that we've had a chance to do, but it's also very different from all of our Lord of the Rings flats, which are very, very flat. So this is the first of the more bas-relief style. Now, we also, again, we've got, this will probably be what we're doing next week, is maybe do some of the Arthurians. We also do have, where's our, oh, here we go. We also now have a Lord of the Rings version, again, of our more bas-relief style flat there. So have a good stroll there. Thank you so much, Sano. Appreciate that. Now, of course, Monday was Armada Monday, and we painted this Aerolon carrier right here. So that's one of our Battlestar Galactica ships right there, and now it's it's BSG week. Yes, indeed. So that, thanks again. Appreciate you being here, Sano. I'm going to take me some of this, some of the yellow here. That's there. Let's get rid of some of that. A little too much on that brush. Let me do this. I'm just visualizing. There's like a whole hair collection there, Camda. He's got like a mithril box for it or something like that, so that he can keep it secret and keep it safe. Okay, now that I've done that, let me go over to this. And that is going to hit these guys and bring these out a little bit more again. Hopefully, anyways. Maybe we got to thin this down. Or maybe we just got to wait. Actually, Camda, I don't know if I have any bas reliefs of Gimli at all. I don't even think I have Legolas. I don't think I have Gimli or Legolas. For as many Lord of the Rings flats as I've done, actually, I don't think I have. I don't believe I have. I have a Gimli uh, gummy bear. I also have the Legolas gummy bear. But geez, Cam, I don't even have a. I don't have a Gimli plinth. Or sorry, not plinth. A Gimli flat. Wow. Because clearly we're not doing enough designs, right, Grand Oracle? We need to just keep doing more. So appreciate you being here, Sano. Now again, I do believe tomorrow we will be working on said gummy bears. Well, Lord of the Rings themed gummy bears, anyhow. Who knows? Might be doing well. Actually, Saturday we could be doing one of our Battlestar Galactica busts. Now, there's one of them that I'm saving. Oh, actually, Grand Oracle. Holy smokes! So one of the Battlestar Galactica busts that I did is of a Centurion. And obviously that would be prime for a little bit of TMM, wouldn't you say, Grand Oracle? Yeah, so I'll save that. I'll save that one for a tutorial vid. But again, it depends on how these things print out. But I don't know. Since it kind of turned into Battlestar Galactica week, maybe. Let me try and do this here. There we go. Also, bit there. Now let's lighten this up some more too. Yep, Ciano, make all of the flats. Now what's interesting is the original style of the flat was more like this. And now this is a new thing that I just started. I accidentally learned how to do this, what, 10 days ago, Camden tops, maybe. Now we also, again, we have Arthurian themed. We also have our Japanese themed. Whoops, wrong ones there. Well, here's again more of our Lord of the Rings themed. And then here again is some of our Japanese themed ones. So we'll be painting some of these on our streams as well. Now this one might be one of the. Yeah, so that one's really fun right there. We'll see if we can maybe get that one going. So yeah, Camda, that's the bamboo stuff. That was the accidental discovery and the ye old bamboo slicer. And well, the change, actually, the train stuff, the train moves out of the station real quick these days, doesn't it, Recoil? Yeah, that you got to move fast to catch that train now. You got to move real fast if you want to catch that train. No problem there, Sano. So Sano, yeah, first we did the Lord of the Rings designs, then there was the Arthurian designs, and I did, again, dozens of the Arthurians. Then I did the Japanese theme stuff, and then, gosh, it was not that long ago, I started doing the Battlestar Galactica theme. I've actually got like 3 or 4 different versions, Sano, of Baltar flats. I also have, I think, two different versions of the Laura Rosalind flat. I've got two different versions of Starbuck. There's regular Starbuck, and then there's Angel Starbuck. And I know the debate still rages all these years later, right? Recoil, was Starbuck really an angel or not? I don't think that's ever going to be answered because I'm not sure they knew. In fact, I think I might have seen like an interview or something where they even now they don't really know. All these years later. You know what? I'm going a little bit back to the mid-tone here inside the frame. 2 hours and 15 minutes ago, this looked just like that Arwen flat that I showed you, which is just primed. Where'd she go? Yeah, it looked exactly like this right here, just priming again. These are, you can even see the little bit of a texture from the build plate there. These are just printed out in resin. And again, the ultimate goal is to have these available for the folks on the Patreon page. I really don't want to be doing any of that my mini factory stuff. I don't have the time to be running something like that. And of course, the whole idea is that this would save people uh, on the Patreon page some coin, because now instead of having to invest in all of the Patreons and tribes that I do, if they want to get their hands on the files of the stuff that I'm painting, this way it's like, okay, here it is. You got it. Now all you got to do is print it up yourself, and then you can paint along with the video. Yeah, recoil, I think it was something, even just there was some kind of like a YouTube posting of it or something, and I forget which one. It was one of the two guys, the two main guys, and he was talking about it and said, well, we couldn't really decide either way. And I'm kind of sure Rico actually, like, neither one of them liked the way she came back like that. I think that was something that really was not in the mix. But there was always that kind of constant, are we going to get another season? Are we not? Which I think led to a little bit of mayhem. Let me try to, yeah. Let's make that a little lighter there. I wonders. Let me see if I can't go even a bit lighter on the skinny tones here of Baltar. Sorta can. That maybe a little lighter there. Maybe catch some more in his eyes here. We'll do this here. I mean, there was that whole wreckage of the plane, right? Recoil, wreckage of the Viper, and then the skeleton in there. Spoiler alert. But geez, yeah, right, Cam, the change here and the capabilities and such on all levels between, the paint, the how we use the paint, what we're actually painting on, that just keeps on changing almost by the day. Try and lighten this up even more. Is this too much of the white on the hair? Maybe not. try to go even a little lighter there. Let me see if I can get some lighter stuff on the hands here, and maybe even a little bit more of our greenish gray in some of the shadow areas. Oh yeah, actually his lower lip needs to catch a little bit of light there. Come on. Bit more on the furrow of his brow. Where's our chromium oxide green? Well, Camden Oxide University had a chance in the college football playoff because Ole Miss is Oxford, Mississippi there, Camden. I'm not joking. That is 100% legit. So Oxford, Mississippi had a chance to advance in the college to the championship game, the national championship game, of course. Right, Camden, it's so essential to just kind of say, well, okay, the experiment may not work. And sometimes even when it doesn't work, right, there's been times, well, geez, how many times have we done something and it didn't work, which then led us to a solution that did. That's all train stuff right there, right? Recoil. Yes, sirree. You keep trying solutions until you find a solution that actually really works. That's how we roll here in the Wappelville train station. That's basically kind of almost like a brownish, greenish gray right there for the shadow area of his hand. Let me try some of this here. Is this? That's not gonna be too white. I don't think so. Nope. Trying to get the top of his belt there a little bit. This and okay, that we got a little bit too much of the blue there, so let's just go into another area on the palette over here. I don't know, try and get me some of the lightest lights on the maybe we even do a little bit of texture on there, who knows. Lighter here on that sleeve. Like you do there. Okay, get a bit more light there. This collar needs to catch a little more light. Now, I'm just thinking that let me try something. I don't know if this is going to work, but I am going to try and put a little bit of orangey stuff here on his shoulders, perhaps. And if it doesn't work, we can just wipe that out. Right, how you doing there, Supers? Nice to see you there, superstar. So that kind of looks like Mordor when we destroyed the one true ring. There was lots of boom that happened there. Except those mushroom clouds are really cool. Why does that suddenly make me think of pipeweed? Not sure what Gandalf would associate mushrooms and pipeweed, but let's see what happens on our big Gandalf 6 for the superstar. Oh my goodness, well, it must be a superstar, because Superstar just got a big old Gandalf 6. So yeah, yep, Sano, boy oh boy, how many different versions of Gandalf do we have now? I mean, we even have two different versions. Well, actually, we have technically three different versions of Gummy Gandalf now. Good grief, there he is. There's the second gummy version of Gandalf. There's a third one, which is this one here. Yes, yet another version of Gummy Gandalf. So Sano, if you check out the Linseed Fellowship YouTube channel, I believe almost all of the Lord of the Rings gummies now, I think almost all of the episodes are up there. If they're not all up there, I think that one will be like very soon. No, I think actually the latest one just went up earlier, like 2 hours ago. Yeah. So yeah, definitely Sano. You can check out the Linseed Fellowship YouTube channel because that is where you can find again all of the past sessions here. Well, like even this, if you want to see this again, the only place you'll be able to see this is on that Linseed Fellowship YouTube channel. That is not what we wanted there. We'll just wipe that away. There we go. I wonder, let me see if I can make this even a smidge darker under there. I think that sort of did it. So yeah, that is the Linseed Fellowship YouTube channel. That's right here. There you go. So go there and subscribe. Where's our... I don't know which one of the... Actually, well, let's hear. Let me just take this and we're going to go back to our darker brown here. Much darker brown. Also a little more thinner. Going to try to really establish these darkest edges here. Just using our little liner brush for that. There we go. And we kind of had to wait for some of that to set, of course. Can't be hasty, little hobbits. Actually, I think I did actually try to make. Oh, that's right. I was trying to make a miniature of Hasty, the Hobbit there, Camda, and unfortunately, it just was not understanding how Hobbit feet are supposed to be. First, it gave him boots, Camda, and then I'm like, no, he should have the larger furry feet. Let's put it this way: Sasquatch did not have as much hair as it gave that Hasty the Hobbit on his feet there. And when I said, "Can you reduce that?" it basically just kept it exactly the same, like 10 times in a row. That never happens at all, does it, Recoil? That never happens at all. That it says, "Look, I fixed it," and you say, "Nope, that is actually the same." Or it's worse. I might just have to be a bust there, Camda. Speaking of which, I still want to make Kathy's her Hobbit character into a bust as well. Like I said, I got a bunch of things that I need to do in Eldritch Foundry. That is something else, one of the 10 bazillion things I'm going to try to get to this week. Ooh, picture time. Picture time again. 1 second here. We made some more changeolas to this. 1 second here. There we go. A couple more lights on his hand, I believe, might just be the order of the day here. Let me give this here a try. Thumb. That knuckle there, and then this one too. Okay, yeah. That's what we needed. And let me see what... this will do on it. Oops, that was a bit too much there. That is fine because we're going to take this. And actually push some of that down into the recess there, because what that actually does is kind of lighten up the shadows a little bit. And I did need to do that somewhat. Try that again with some of our lighter stuff now. Ears. And, oh yeah, let's definitely get the part of his hand there before it gets into the shadow of his arm right there. Let me hit that too. Now for the mustache. Wait, first though, I'm gonna. No, that's gonna be way too late. Let me go back. Let's backtrack to something like this. Maybe even a little bit of our green in there. Trying to sneak that in past, yes, past his hand. Teensy bit more light there. Nope, that is going to still be too light. Let me backtrack a little further here. What do we got here? Nope, more of the Terosa. Now we're talking right in there. Yeah, that's better. Hit this now. A little bit more there. That. Back to our somewhat lighter skin tone for his wrist. And not so much on the shadow side there, more on the light side here. Take the edge of that away. Let me see what happens when I take our white here and maybe we're making our yellow stuff even lighter now. I better thin that down a little more. One sec here. Jeez, yeah, I did not think that was going to quite show up so much. It does. It actually shows up quite a bit there. Yep, Superstar. All of these are printed out. So here's again, it's this is one of our Lord of the Rings theme busts. You can see, I think if I hold it this way, you can see a little bit of the texture of the build plate right there. I wonder some of my other ones might have a little more of that texture. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can see the texture a little bit more there. Again, these are printed in resin. Now, I did make a little bit of an attempt here to use the FDM printer for frames for these plinths here because, well, printing out the frames, that would take a lot of resin. It was not, I mean, it was sort of successful. So, yep, Superstar, they're all 3D printed. Again, the Lord of the Rings ones, and this was the very first one right here. That was the very first one that I did, and you can definitely see that kind of that build plate texture on the back of it there. Oh, thanks, Superstar. Appreciate that. And of course, hopefully, the new year has been going very well for you. Typically on Thursdays, we call them Flat Thursdays. Now, sometimes, oh, and here's some of our other flats. Now, again, these are the other type of flats where, again, it is a much lower relief, we'll put it that way. So we did these already on stream. Superstar, actually, yes, usually in person, like things like Adepticon, that sort of thing. Now, here's some of our more regular paintings here. Let me get down to this shelf. There we go. And yeah, we've done tons and tons of our spacescapes here. Yeah, lots of spacescapes and landscapes. So yeah, we've done lots of 2D art on the channel here. But yeah, typically things like, say, Adepticon, I'll have tons of flats, the Lord of the Rings gummy bears, the busts. So yeah, for the folks going to Adepticon, we're going to be locked and loaded with all kinds of stuff there. Let me do this here. I also have the Patreon page. That is where, well, now it's got to be close to 2,700 hours worth of videos now. If it's not 2,700, it's pretty darn close. No, thanks, Sano. Appreciate that. So Superstar, the things are so hectic and busy here. I don't really have a chance to do any of the commission stuff anymore. It's just just a little bit too hectic and crazy between the streaming and the video, the tutorials and such. That was back in the day. That was kind of the primary method of how we approach the miniature painting. But then it kind of went over to the streaming and kind of tutorial video stuff. Let me do a little bit of the later stuff over here. No problem there, Superstar. Because the thing that what we've been trying to learn lately is, again, how to use things like Eldritch Foundry, which we've used to make a whole bunch of miniatures, and then also a whole bunch of other different programs, again, for creating the flats. I think we tried like 5 different methods for making the flats. Still testing those out, by the way. Yeah, that testing is still very much underway. Come on. Wait, let's get a little... No. I'll just do it this way. We need some light there. We need some light on this part of the dome. And then on these columns here. Like that. Now we'll have to get some of our orange in there too. Nope, Sano. The only thing you can make in Eldritch Foundry... I did actually ask them, Sano. I asked them, I said, hey, I think, well, right now, the one thing they're doing for me is they're making things, basically basing stuff, more basing stuff in Eldritch Foundry, but you can't make flats in Eldritch Foundry. That is, I use things like the image to STL.com. There's also in the Bamboo Slicer. There's, Maker World, that's it, yes, that's in the Bamboo Slicer. And these, the ones with the frames, the ones with the more heavy relief, though, these have been done with Maker World. Again, it's part of the Bamboo Slicer. Nice to see you there, Inganes. Well, you know the deal there, Inganes. Why don't you post your oil-painted stuff in the chat so that other folks could see that oil-painted stuff? And then be sure to give Inganes a follow, because Inganes streams the oil painting just like Camden does. So great to see you there, Inganes. So Inganes, the test prints of the Trench Crusade bust and the autocorrect monster bust, those seem to have worked out. They seem to have worked out. So I'm hoping to have those at least, what would you say, cleaned and cured to show on the next stream. Everybody check out that Instagram link that Inganes just shared. And everybody please give Inganes a follow. Fine, I'm going to put a little light on his ears is there. Actually, Inganes I also now have, in addition to all the stuff with the Shadow Lord and Kamul, this, actually, I think I already went past it here. 1 second, nope, maybe oh, here we go, yeah. So this is now a miniature Inganes. The throne, the king, and the treasure. Now I had to get rid of the crowns and some of the other like physical gold items, so it's just coins. But that is now a miniature, and I'm going to be trying to test print that after the stream tonight. Okay, that's fantastic. Everybody, again, please give Inganes a follow because Inganes will be going live. So great success there, Inganes. I hope that it goes fan. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. And again, everybody, please give Inganes a follow if you could. So Sano, if you check out my Instagram, you'll see some of the stuff that we made, like new Wapelia Spellbrush figures. The I think I can get that out here. So this is another one of the things that we made with Eldritch Foundry right here. Actually, Armored Wolf, I think we'll just go with these because they're much lighter. So yeah, Armor, I'll just get you now. Maybe not the one where she's looking off to the side. Maybe the one looking straight ahead or something. But I think this is definitely the way to go here, Armored Wolf. Yeah, I think that'll be much easier to print out. Actually, is this one? Yeah. This is speaking of FDM. This one's printed in FDM too. I'm just like, wait a minute, that seems awful light. Oh, that's because it's printed in FDM. Oh, thanks, Sano. Boy, Inganes, there's just actually here. Let me take a picture here real quick because we did some more changes to his face there. Let's do that. Come on. There we go. And I believe, let me see if I can, nope, not that. Here we go. Let me try this here. So I think here, there we go. So there's the Trench Crusade bust, and there's the autocorrect monster Inganes. Look at him. There he is. He's just sneaky. Very sneaky. Sneaky, cheeky little bugger right there. And again, here's the link to the latest Army Showcase video. Right here. Let me get this posted there. There we go. So that's the latest Army Showcase video featuring terrain, miniatures, and again, all of those figures that you saw, those were all either painted in tutorial videos or on stream. Every single one of them. The painting of all of them is recorded somewhere in some form. And again, all the terrain that you see there, that is also that's from Printing Goes Ever On. Yes, from the Printing Goes Ever On. For a second, I was going to say it was Conquest Creations, but no, that's all the other gigantic stuff. And I do believe, speaking of Conquest Creations, that, well, both Conquest and Printing Goes Ever On are both basically doing the entrance to Erebor at the same time. So, yep, that's the Army of the Dead stuff there in Ganes. And believe it or not, some of those figures are from the very, I think it was Army Painting Series 4. Yeah, from one of the very first Army Painting series. Talk about the Wayback Machine. Especially now since we're about to start almost Army Painting Series 50. I do believe Army of the Dead was Series 4. Just to give you a little perspective on that. Oh, and by the way, each army painting series is 5 episodes long. So if you just take the Army Painter episodes alone, that's over 200 of those. We're on episode 120 of our On the Workbench. We've done about 80 some odd basing videos, a good 20 diorama videos, at least about 30 different terrain videos. We've got painting bus, painting large scale, painting small scale, painting conquest, painting Shatterpoint, our chapter studies with our 40K Schmesh Marines. See you later, Inkanes. Inkanes, again, I hope that you have blast on stream. I'm sure that you will. I'm sure it'll be super, super fun. You know what? I'm gonna get me some of that in there. Wasn't going to initially, but I think I will now. And then here, maybe we'll also try to start sneaking a little bit more of our lighter semi-bronzy colors in there or something. Might do that on the other side here. Yeah, let's try that. Across the top here. And again, all this is oil paint, start to finish. And we started 2 hours and 46 minutes ago. There was no zenithal, there was no nothing on this. This is exactly how it looked just 2 hours 46 minutes ago. And of course, well, here's our this was our January 1st stream, basically our New Year's Eve stream. Yes, we do paint ornaments, we paint planets, we paint spacescapes, lots of fun stuff on those ornaments. Let me do this. So somehow the Alexa, if you're hearing a voice in the background, that is, I'm not sure what I said to activate that, but it started talking. And I was like, okay, who just got in the house and is talking behind me? I thought for a second it was big acrylic there, Camda. I thought it was, the gig was finally up. I was thinking, how did they land the helicopters on the lawn in all this wind? That must have been a very talented pilot. No, Camda, actually what I was hoping to do, Camda, remember the giant mural? Now, of course, I don't know where. I'd have to start looking around for this footage, but there is footage of most of the painting process of that, Camda, and I was actually hoping to do a time lapse of that so that the whole thing could be broken down like an hour and a half or something like that, however long, time lapse things go, with maybe some kind of commentary also. So that was something that I was going to try and do. There was a time lapse of painting of the big that was a 130 by 90 something inch mural there of the Hobbit hole. Let me get that a little bit of the lighter stuff over on the other side here ish. So yeah, that was the giant Hobbit hole that I painted in that nursery there. Let me get that. Yeah, that shows up much more now. At first, that was like when all that stuff was very, very wet. It was hard to get anything to show up there. Let me try a little bit more of our more yellow orange in here because this the orange is set a lot more. Yeah, that's gonna bring in more of the focus in on him, I think. So basically, round about 3 hours ago, so we're at 2 hours 49 minutes. That was when we started on this thing. And we started from 0. Yeah, there was no zenithal or anything like that. We don't do any zenithal stuff. And it's all straight up with the oil paints. There's no base coat stuff or anything like that. We just get right into it with the oils, 100%. So it was maybe about, yeah, somewhere, it was about, it had to be about 7.5 feet high, I think, tops. Well, actually, at 90 something inches, actually, well, it was, yeah, at least 7.5 feet tall. Let's put it this way, Camda, it was large enough that all of the, like the columbine flowers and stuff, those were basically painted life size. That's how big it was. In fact, Camda, we were speculating that, again, not having an available Hobbit at the time, we speculated that it was the door itself was basically Hobbit scale. That's how big the door was. The door was probably 3-something feet high, Camda. In which case, I think that's pretty much a halfling height. So yeah, at some point, if I can find that, I might have done the step-by-steps or something like that, photos. I might have put that on Insta. That I don't know. I'd have to go look. Nah, I need more orangey stuff. There we go. Bingo, here we are. Gonna put a little bit of the orange on some of this now. Here. Now, what I think I might go do is just real quick, like, go refresh that medicine. Super quick. Yeah, a little bit more of this. Over here into, these are just a little bit more. And then we're gonna do some more stuff down here. There's a little bit raggedy down here. Just was kind of waiting for some of this to set. So we're gonna do these two areas here. Gonna get some more stuff down here around our text and sharpen all that up. We got some edges there we need to sharpen up. So again, don't go anywhere. We shall be right back. Let me see. Still thinking about going lighter in here. Still thinking about that. I'm gonna actually try to get maybe a little bit of our, a little more color in there. Let me try to do. I'll use this, and I'm gonna try and use our fabulous, not radiant cobalt, not radiant blue. Actually, Camda, one of the things I was gonna do in that video with the containers, because I actually took all of the water washable oils and put them, well, put a bit of them in containers like this, but I was going to do some of those custom colors we were talking about there, Camda. I think I might have probably mentioned that earlier in the stream. That's going to be hilarious. I just never got a chance to film that today because of all the crazy weather stuff. But that's something I'm hoping to film tomorrow during the day. Is that segment there where I'm basically mixing up some custom colors there, Camda, and then putting them in some paint jars and, well, give them some crazy names. And then we can break those out on streams there, and then people have to guess, is it a real color or is it a made up one? Is it one that we mixed up? The first genuine Wapple oils, right, Camda? There is actually a little bit of a cuff on these sleeves here. All right, good to know. Take some of that down a little bit. And again, this is that crazy cobalt blue stuff, which is not cobalt blue. Yeah, that orange stuff, they're not super sold on that. I'm going to start to reduce some of that orangey stuff there. Now, we were talking about our Baltar text. I want to take this. I want to take some of, no, Indian yellow. That's it. That's what we need to start getting into some of this stuff is our Indian yellow because of the whole translucency of it. Now, oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what we needed to do. So see how the top part of that now, that the highlight on the top part really starts to look, well, like a highlight. Really didn't before. Doing that here. Let's get this going here. Try this again here. What else have we here? And something like that. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking this. Here, let me get a different brush here. Got to get this Indian yellow working into this here. Indian yellow. A bit of our umber. Yeah. And again, the translucency of that, you can really see it here. So it's that's no glaze and not a glaze. Don't have to make it a glaze. Because, well, that's such a translucent color. Like we were talking, oh yeah, there's one of your YouTube comments there, Cam, it was talking about the dry brush stuff. And it's just so crazy with the oils, right, that I'm doing a dry brush right there, and all that is wet blending. All across the whole thing here, like right here, we got wet blending going on. That's done. That's a dry brush thing. So yeah, like I was saying before there, Cam, sorry, for whatever reason, I never got notifications on all of those, all of your posts there on the YouTube vids. So if you might be having a whole bunch of notifications there, Cam, saying like, okay, reply here or reply there. So sorry that you'll be getting a bunch of those potential notifications there. Oh, they're doing the same thing. Same thing on these outer portions. And all I got to do is literally just, okay, take this. We're turning this into essentially a micro filbert brush and then blammo. We do that. And that is all it takes. Why would we want to be doing a whole bunch of layers and all the kinds of crazy stuff when we can just do something like this? A whole lot easier. Whole lot easier just doing this. Bam. Yeah, let's knock that down to a little. This maybe some. Maybe we'll go across that bottom there too. All right, so yeah, that's really changed all of this pretty significantly. You can see here how this little bit of a change as we go around that side. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take me some of the radiant green. Now we got a little bit opacity in here, also a bit lighter. Nice to see you there, Chiron. Happy New Year again. I know you've seen a couple of the streams already this New Year's, but great to see you. Bam, look at that. Now look at, see that? I'm talking about dry brush, but it's still mixing. Yeah, it's wet blending, right? Even though it is a dry brush. You know what? I'm going to hold it this way so I can just do a little of that. By the nameplate, we were wanting to get something that wasn't this blue. We wanted to get something that was a bit more kind of a flat gray. So let me try this. Also, some of our Mars blacks. So the violet, the Mars black, mix those together. What do we got? Is this going to be too light? I don't think so. That is right about, yeah, that's right about where I want it. Is nice. So, Cameron, hopefully your Friday is off to a great start. Let me try a little bit liner here. So my hope is by the next weekend streams, we can start to paint some of our, again, more of our homemade miniatures there. That's our Camul the Easterling, the before version of Camul the Easterling. Either that or I paint up my Golden King of Air. It's basically kind of depends which prints are the best ones and which ones are all prepped and ready to go. Oh geez, that's what I need to do. I need to print out more of my my own custom prints that I made for those things. That's right. Okay. There we are. What is on this? Oh, that's what's on this. I was like, that seems a little dingy for kind of a almost like a gold type color. Oh no, this is our violet. That's what's on the actual brush right now. Come on, a little bit more there. Ooh, that needs to go underneath the both of those A's. We kind of got it into the R, but not either one of the A's. So you can see how that's kind of having its own little bit of light to dark going on right there. Try to go maybe even more straight up violet. Let me see what happens with that. Gotta get rid of that piece of fuzz on the brush. That is better. doing some more of this. Also, something like that. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of that up here. Just a touch of it. Yeah, okay, so that nameplate's starting to stand out from the bluish gray here. I'm gonna see, let me see something darker here. Darker, darker, darker. Our indigo and the Mars black. We mix them up together, nice and dark. Break them down a little bit more. And now some, hopefully, some super shadow stuff going on there. That got a little wacky there. We need a little shadow there. Restore our edge of his shirt all along this. Perhaps some of this in here. It's got a little bit on the bluish side, but I'm going to try it anyhows. In there. Also there. Another place we need it is right there. The left eye needs a little reconstructed. There we go. Yeah, that's it. I have to go a little bit heavier with the dark on the eyebrow there. Also, thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the Instagram, to the YouTube channels. It's both of them there. Again, there is a new Army Showcase video for you to check out on the regular YouTube channel. That is the Army of the Dead. It basically that shows every single, and I do mean every single Army of the Dead figure that I've ever painted on stream, whether that's tutorial videos, whether that is the live streams, whether it's any of it. They're all featured in that video. There's GW ones. There's People 3D. There's Kurz Look. There's Highland Miniatures. I think the only ones not in there. What was the other? Oh, well, the Printing Goes Ever On, because I actually haven't painted those yet. Yeah, the Army of the Dead on horseback. Yeah, from Printing Goes Ever On. I actually haven't painted those yet. Great to see you back there, Irid. Of course, Irid, why don't you do the thing? Why don't you post your Pinterest link there in the chat? Since you have returned. Everybody check out that Pinterest link, the fabulous jewelry of Iridican wife, and of course give Irid a follow. So Irid, we had one of your atmospheric rivers today, and it was basically targeting Midway Airport. Again, this is quite literally the third time now where if you went to like 2 miles to either side of us, it was raining. It wasn't like it was, sunny or something like that. But they weren't getting the inch and a half in a matter of a few hours like we got. It was like this one line targeted right at us. Which, of course, that's what I was saying earlier in the stream. I was very glad that I was digging trenches and doing the hydraulic cement and all that stuff after the last bout. And then doing concrete stuff too. And I haven't even finished all the concrete stuff on the outside that I'm doing. But I noticed there was no giant lake between my house and the neighbor's house like there was when we had the big disaster. Now, again, this wasn't quite as hard of a rain, but I think I'm on the right track with what I'm doing back there. Oh, I can make this lighter. I was like, there's no way I can make that a little light, but I can. I mean, it's not a ton. So yeah, that was a potential Easter egg right there, because well, all of a sudden it was like 60 degrees. And by Saturday, well, I think even by tomorrow, potentially some snow flurries in the afternoon. Because apparently, once again, January is going to be the new July. I thought this is the one year we kind of get away from that. Winter started out so well, right, here. Now, of course, the Armored Wolf was at 25, 26 inches of snow or so you had up there. And I believe that you said, what, your high was -8 today or something like that? Let me hit this again, sure. Little more on that. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to piece in a little bit more of this here on our corners. And maybe a smidge in the center here. Also, there. Fine, I'm going to grab a little bit of my kind of yellowish green there. Maybe thin it down might be better. Sure enough, just had to thin it down. No, 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 no. Let me do this. Now back. Oops, that's what I needed. Okay, I think we'll just then leave that set for now. Let's leave that set for a bit. Now to get some of this liner stuff up in here. So again, there's was it 6 different frame types that you can do in the Maker World bas relief generator. This is that a different? Yeah, this is a different type of frame here. Now that's got a little bit more snazzy stuff going on. This is the much simpler variety. I tried to do the simpler frame here for all the B5 stuff, or sorry, the BSG stuff for, well, obvious reasons. You know what, let me get a little more of our sort of lighter sky color. I mean, that's not super light. We're just going to try and get a little bit of that in here. Can't be too much though. Also, it's there's a little bit of thinner in this as well, because the paint that's already there is pretty thick by comparison. Yeah, there's also some of the orange got in the sky. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Get our lighter sky in there. This is something I tried doing, an hour or so ago, and it is just too much of our little glaze stuff in there. I had to wait, let that stuff set. Be patient there. Do not be hasty. Ah, there we are. So came came to hopefully things are looking up for this. Speaking of Easter eggs, hopefully things are looking up. And actually, here it hopefully you know what you know what trying to say there. Hopefully, no out of season holidays for you there. Yeah, we don't even want to say what it is, right? It's bad luck just to say what it is. We knew that here. Might get a little smidge of that in here. Because this is kind of supposed to be the Dratus stuff right here that you're seeing around his head there. Try it this way. Also there. Come on. One there, one there. A little bit of our somewhat lighter blue in there too. Yeah, that's I might go a little bit further with that. Just might. Maybe there. A touch of it here. And then, okay, we'll leave that alone for now. Let's leave that alone for the moment. Back to my darker stuff here. Back to some dark. Around these. There's a couple of these things that got a little bit soft when we put the lighter stuff on them. Easier to come back and sharpen up those edges now with the darker stuff. That's another that all on this whole thing here. We're going to try and sharpen this up. I've been kind of waiting again for a little while because we've been doing stuff on the interior there. Yeah, let me keep breaking that down. There's still a big old chunk of paint in there. 1 second. Wow, that's better. Almost there. Now we're talking. I think, yep, I got to do the same deal on this side. I'm going to hold it this way, though. A little bit easier if I can do it that way. And now that whole edge is getting nice and sharp. Last bit of it up there, and now we got it. Now, boy, here, that's just it's like one of those weird D6 or those choose your own adventure charts, and you're like, I wish to not have any adventures. Yes, you're not interested in being Bilbo Baggins, right, Arid? You don't want to go on adventures. Yes, now finding maybe some produce at the grocery store that's out of season, and you get surprised, like, oh, where did this come from? That's okay, but the out of season holidays, not so much, right, Arid? Definitely not. Okay, we did that side. I'm going to try to darken up this side over here. And also, too, okay, we're talking about, the test prints of everything. Test print this, test print that, whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's good. But you know what? Test painting also has to happen. Because printing something and then painting it, well, those can be two different things. Those can sometimes be two unrelated things. There's the painting part of it, and then there's the printing part of it. Let me get this. Blend a little bit more there. Definitely, I mean, it has its own entire month, right, Arid? I mean, it has its own week. It doesn't need to be crowding out the other holidays during their special times, right, Arid? Or, well, then, of course, those non-holiday times. Yes, it doesn't need to be pushing in on everything else. Here, let me restore that a smidge there. Let me try this one more time here. Now we're getting there. There we are. I mean, how would Easter like it if all of a sudden there were Christmas trees and Santa and stuff like that? Now, what if the Easter bunny got run over by reindeer? There you go. It wouldn't like that very much, so it shouldn't fool around with our other holidays, right? Now, down here, I'm going to try and get me some lighter edges on stuff. Also, a little Indian yellow in there. Because that got a little bit fuzzy right here. No, we are talking. There we go. Yeah, we needed to get that whole thing lighter there. Taking more of this. This is another. Yeah, let me try and get some down in here. I wasn't initially going to do this, but let me try this here. Let me see something. Orange. In here a little. Maybe some thinner in that. Yeah, could be a little too much. Then again, back in here to try and, because remember, this is the stuff that was a little choppy. We've been waiting. There we go. Yeah, we've been waiting to mess around with this for a while. Yeah, that's more like it down here. More of our orange back into the recesses of these. Yeah, maybe there too. Maybe some of that up here. And then a little bit of smoothing and softening of some of these here. There's a little too much going on there. We're going to simplify that. Same deal here. Yeah, a little bit of simplification there. Effectively using this guy here is a micro blending brush. And it's kind of a loaded micro blending brush at that because there's a little bit of our orange paint on there too. No, I'm going to go this way to sharpen up that. Also this here. Yeah. Oh, That's what we haven't. Yes, it is hour 3, right? Oh, geez.